Thanks for joining us. I'm Megan Roberts. A record number of young people are staying up at night and calling the kids' help phone for help with their mental health. It's a phenomenon that's especially prevalent in some parts of the North. And the nonprofit says across the country, it's the most dramatic spike it's ever seen. The CBC's Saloni Bugra reports.
We are receiving a crisis text every 90 seconds.
The Kids Help Phone has seen a gradual increase in the number of people calling their helpline since the pandemic, but nothing quite like this year.
It's always really distressing when a young person reaches out and they talk about the fact that they are thinking and have thoughts of suicide. We have definitely seen an increase in younger people, younger than the age of 12, telling us that they're thinking about suicide, about ending their life. This is something that we as all caring adults need to be alarmed, and we need to raise the alarm and be there to support them.
The nonprofit is seeing a 24% increase in calls across the country, especially during the night. While numbers in Nunavut remain below the national average, the NWT numbers are just above it, and the Yukon tops the list with an alarming 64% increase. With students returning to school next month, the nonprofit says those numbers are expected to go up another 10%. And the calls are about a range of complex issues.
Now, whether that's stress and anxiety related to school, but looking into their future and wondering, I'm doing all this school, is AI going to take away my jobs? What's changing? And a feeling of loss of control. There's a sense of stress and anxiety about geopolitical issues around climate and forest fires and flooding. There's also a real sense of stress around just social media and the impacts that having devices have had on young people.
This psychotherapist says there's a silver lining in the trend.
There's a dichotomy in this entire situation, is that there is something that is working because the Kids Help Phone is being utilized in the right capacity, right? This means that kids are aware that there is a resource out there that can support them.
She says she has a message for young people struggling with mental health issues and wondering whether to make a call for help.
My message is to let them know that it's okay for them to be seen. It's okay for them to find safety and land somewhere that they can entrust their words and their stories with. Because it's important for them to get that support and be comfortable and have a mentor and have a relationship that they feel good to be around.
She hopes parents will do their part and help their kids find the resources they need. Saloni Bugra, CBC News, Yellowknife. There's more questions tonight surrounding the death of a 4-year-old boy from Nunavik. As we told you yesterday, the boy was brought to the Montreal Children's Hospital earlier this month and died 2 days after being admitted. As his family mourns, his death is prompting a series of investigations in Quebec. Sharon Yonan-Reynolds reports.
The death of a 4-year-old from Ivuyavik in northern Quebec is sparking outrage and a series of investigations. Politicians and community members are calling for answers in the case of the boy identified as UC Padlayat by his family. Local MP Mandy Golmasti offered her condolences to UC's family, and Quebec Solidaire MNA Zol Senetti is calling for justice for UC Padlayat, saying that what he read this morning is a real tragedy. In an interview with La Presse, UC's family from Ivuyavik says they made several trips to the local clinic beginning on July 25th. They say the 4-year-old was experiencing debilitating stomach pains. They say their concerns were ignored by medical staff who told them to give the boy Advil. They told La Presse that UC was found unconscious on August 1st and he was transferred to the local nursing station. They say he was then transferred to the Montreal Children's Hospital where he died 2 days later. Some of Quebec's political parties say it speaks to a need for better healthcare access in Quebec's northern Indigenous communities.
We're going to need to listen to what is coming out from the people, what they need, can we improve, and how can we make change happen.
We're asking the well-being commissioner for children's rights to see this case and to do an investigation. If this is another case of systemic racism, institutional racism, like what happened to Joyce Echaquan, for example, it's tragic.
In a statement, the office of Joyce's principal says that the incident is a brutal reminder that respect for people's dignity must translate into genuine listening and concrete action across all services offered to First Nations and Inuit. The group formed after the death of Joyce Echaquan, a 37-year-old Atikamekw woman who filmed staff at a Joliet hospital hurling racist insults at her as she lay dying. In a joint statement, the Inuit Civic Health Center, which serves the village of Evuyavik, and the Nunavik Regional Health Board say that both an internal and external review are underway into the passing of the 4-year-old child. The Quebec Coroner's Office confirms it is investigating a recent death, but would not comment on the cause or the circumstances.
That was Sharon Yonan-Reynolds. Capacity issues are plaguing the jail in Yellowknife. The men's unit at the North Slave Correctional Complex is now triple bunking some inmates, even though the cells are designed for 2. The CBC's Luke Carroll has more.
The North Slave Correctional Complex is operating above capacity and is needing to triple bunk inmates as a result. The NSCC has a capacity of 148 inmates. As of Monday, it was holding 159. This is according to the Northwest Territories Justice Department. This isn't the most inmates that have been in the jail. The Justice Department says in 2009 there were more than 180 inmates. The crowding is a concern for a longtime social advocate in Yellowknife.
And so that means putting a mat on the floor, and you get to decide if you're the one on the mat, do you want your feet or your head closest to the toilet?
Bardak says the high numbers can make for an unsafe situation.
I really worry about correction staff. When the place is stressed out, the staff are at risk of being harmed, as well as other inmates harming one another.
As for what's causing this increase, it's unclear. Bardak says she monitors the court docket and that list has been growing, meaning more people are being charged. On June 15th, there were also changes to the federal bail legislation that makes it harder for those facing charges to be granted bail. Of the 159 inmates in jail now, 136 are on remand. That means they're awaiting trial and are presumed innocent. A territorial government spokesperson says it's too early to know if bail reform is causing the increase in inmates. They say that the increase in inmates is caused by numerous factors. The spokesperson also says that the jail is operating safely despite being over capacity. Luke Carroll, CBC News, Yellowknife.
The federal government says it's earmarked $3 million for search and rescue volunteer teams across Canada, including in the north. The federal Minister of Emergency Management and Community Resilience made the announcement in Yellowknife today. She says the money will support creating national standards for ground search and rescue,
so that search and rescue teams can train and prepare and work together effectively, especially when a major operation brings together responders from different jurisdictions or in fact just different kinds of response teams. Everyone needs to be interoperable.
The Search and Rescue Volunteer Association of Canada says volunteers will always be essential, especially in the north. And it says it's valuable to have national coordination.
The Northwest Territories and other northern and remote regions face realities that are very different from many parts of the country. We've got vast distances, isolated communities, challenging environments, and limited local resources.
Peck says last year, volunteers with the Search and Rescue Volunteer Association of Canada answered thousands of calls and volunteered more than 220,000 hours on search operations. Whitehorse residents continue to rally against mineral exploration in the city's Copperbelt. They held a community information session on Wednesday night. Vancouver-based Gladiator Metals wants to expand its drilling program, but Whitehorse's official community plan doesn't allow for that right now. The 3 sites the company is eyeing are designated as green space. City Council is considering changing that designation so Gladiator can work on those plots. And that's not sitting well with some residents, especially those in the Mary Lake area. Now they're trying to drum up support for their cause to keep Gladiator out of city limits.
the proposed area is close to residents in terms of noises from drilling. We already hear the drills that are outside the city, and so there's a question of, what that impact will be if it's moved into the city. And the other take home is that the rest of Whitehorse should be aware that the definitions and the redesignations of areas could have serious implications down the road.
Last month, more than a dozen delegates at a Whitehorse City Council meeting spoke out against the proposal. A public hearing on the issue is set for August 24th. It's a new reality. Evacuations have dramatically increased in the Northwest Territories. According to data from the territorial government, there have been as many evacuation orders in the last 6 years as there were in the previous 30. That does include orders for entire communities, partial evacuations for portions of a community, and orders for homes along stretches of highway. It all adds up to more emergencies more often. I spoke earlier to the NWT Minister of Municipal and Community Affairs to find out how the government is handling this. Minister, thank you so much for joining me today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So let's start from a personal perspective, if we could. What did you think when you saw those dramatic increases in numbers in evacuations?
Yeah, I would say it's probably, more. I think what's more interesting is the fact that these stats are picking up, and I guess it's to no surprise that these stats are increasing as time goes on. And I think probably a combination of events, but also the fact that we're probably keeping proper stats now than what they used to back in the day.
I mean, thinking about those numbers, those stats, how has this changed the way that MACA functions as a department?
I think overall we're turning our focus to I guess fine-tuning emergency events and helping in evacuations and the processes through evacuations. We definitely have a pretty good solid team in the department on with our emergency management organization on how we're structured for emergencies these days. So there's been a lot of emphasis on our emergency preparedness, because of the past years, and I think that's really important.
Can you briefly explain MACA's role in an evacuation? This has been some cause for confusion, I'm thinking specifically in 2023. So let's just lay it out there.
Sure. Yeah, and a lot of it has been more defined since the after action review of the 2023 emergency events. So usually the way it works is we're in a supporting function. MACA is in a supporting function, and the emergency management organization is in supporting function with the communities until the more supports are needed and have to get stood up, and that continues on to the point of until the government is fully involved in a territorial emergency. So when it comes down to like a local emergency, your local EMO organizations will stand up their community emergency plan or their emergency measures organization, and the government is strictly there in the background as a supporting role for guidance or whatever they might need.
And in terms of emergency preparedness and MACA's role in all of that, do you think the resources in the budget are growing adequately to meet this increasing demand of having basically yearly evacuations for many years now?
I would say we're getting better. We're utilizing, we work with the federal government a lot in regards to supporting evacuations. So, the federal government has the DFAA program, which supports in the time of an emergency. So when we do an evacuation of a community, we're supporting a local government, local community with the evacuation, but we're also working with other agencies to make sure that the evacuation and the evacuation centers are supported all the way through. So it's not just the GNWT, we're working with the local government, Indigenous governments, NGOs, and also the federal government. So it has to be a whole collaborative working group, otherwise it's not going to be successful.
And has the staffing, though, been okay in the past couple of years, for example, just because in the past, looking at those numbers of evacuations, they were much less frequent. And now they're happening with such frequency that I can only imagine it's adding stress to the department.
Yeah, well, I think we're fortunate enough that we have, some dedicated staff that, we have EMO staff that are there all the time, but we also have dedicated staff that will help and stand up in times of need. But we've also added GNWT surge capacity staffing. So, and I believe we can confirm, but I believe some of it was used this past summer with Fort Simpson and Wrigley. Not because we needed to, but I think we wanted to test the surge capacity staff to make sure that we were able to utilize the staff that were there that had signed up through our GNWT programs to assist in times like this where we need extra staff.
And the NWT's emergency plan hasn't been significantly updated since 2018. Why do you think that's not happened?
Well, and I would have to say there's definitely a lot of work that needs to go on behind this, and it's a living, breathing document. It's always going to change. The important part behind this is we had to wait until after the after-action review was done to really see what changes needed to be done, and I think that's important. So even though we didn't make those changes, I think there was changes in the background that employees and government officials knew that they had to do in case of an emergency. But in order to actually fully implement it, we needed to make sure that the after-action review, and that was the third-party independent after-action review, came forward with some recommendations that we were aware of and that we needed to change in order to implement it all at once, essentially. So, and that's ongoing. We're still looking at reviewing the legislation and making some of those changes, like some of the things of working with and adding in Indigenous governments into our planning.
Do you think the NWT is prepared for another 2023 wide-scale emergency, Minister?
I have, firm confidence that we will be able to handle it a lot better than previously. And that being said, it's not that it wasn't fully handled properly. It was more of a preparedness thing, and for that scale of event to be prepared for it, it's not easy to stand up for that scale of event when you don't have the preparedness, you don't have the staffing, you don't have the level of resources. So I would say these have been growing pains, and the government has been learning from it, and I've witnessed it firsthand. And I think, some people might not fully say Fort Simpson was a successful evacuation. Me sitting in the background watching Fort Providence evacuate to Hay River, I found improved from the last time, and Fort Simpson again, another improvement. So I think it's goes without saying we're improving.
Minister, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate this conversation.
No problem. Thanks for the opportunity.
As you heard earlier, the Federal Minister of Emergency Management and Community Resilience was in Yellowknife today for an announcement. Eleanor Olszewski has also been traveling to northern communities to hear about the realities they face when an emergency hits. She says across the board, more work needs to be done in advance to better prepare for evacuations.
I think it's our new normal, and I really appreciate how challenging evacuations can be in the north, and I heard a lot about that when I met with Minister McKay a couple of days ago in Yellowknife. And then similarly, when I traveled on to Inuvik and to Tuktoyaktuk, it was really clear to me that the issues with evacuations are paramount. And it's not a surprise in the sense that I've heard that same frustration with respect to the process of evacuation, basically all across the country every time we've had a province or territory or region affected. And so I'm acutely aware of the problems that arise with respect to evacuations.
The Northwest Territories government says most of the Indigenous people it's hiring are from the territory. This comes after it said it hired more Indigenous people when it overhauled an employment policy last year, but it didn't have the numbers to say where those people were from. The NWT government says it hired 226 Indigenous people from the NWT since April of 2025. That's up from a total of 196 the previous fiscal year. Still, one MLA says that increase isn't reflected in his community.
We have a number of qualified residents from my community of Fort McPherson who have finished university. It'd be good if the program would benefit them and show that the government is really serious about this.
Indigenous people make up about half of the population of the Northwest Territories. The territorial government says they represent about 33% of the public service workforce. Nunavut's power utility says it can't keep taking on deficits. The president of Goodlick Energy Corporation says the majority of money that's spent on new power plants and electricity upgrades is financed through the company's debt. He says the company got federal money from the Arctic Energy Fund in 2018 that was meant to build 10 power plants, but then COVID-19 hit, which impacted logistics. The money only ended up helping finance about 50% of 4 power plants.
And I think we're at that point right now where we can't continue to raise the debt at QEC to build these projects because it's financially irresponsible.
Douglas says the corporation is looking to the federal government to help finance and construct new projects. There's a new challenge ready for disc golfers in the Whitehorse area. The Lorne Mountain Community Association has doubled the size of its course. It now has 18 baskets, many of them on curved paths and surrounded by trees. Take a look.
We had the original 9, which were really close to the parking lot. They wandered off in such a way that you were never out of sight of the parking lot. And it's quite open here, you can see now, because we had fire smarting done a couple of years ago, which actually worked into what we did in this latest development. But this is how it originally started. We had a 9-hole loop that came back to the parking lot. But now, as you can see, it starts all over again with hole number 10, and we make another loop off in the other direction.
The whole point was to keep this, as wilderness as possible, essentially. So we didn't really want to stray too far from clear tons of trees, do any of that stuff. There was none of that involved. It was a lot more fire smarting, actually, is what it turned out to be. So we just used the existing trails and cleaned things up. So I think that's one of the reasons it also went as fast as it did, was just because we were working with what we had instead of trying to, blaze new trails, which was, I think, very key. And also is one of the reasons it's technical.
Yeah. So it follows the ski trail all the way around, basically back over into here, and then we're off in the woods just a bit and back through the meadow. So it makes a nice little circle. We'll move trees if we have to, but I have to tell you, cutting a tree down here comes with a great deal of community scrutiny. I think the ones back in here were hard because it makes a corner either to the left or to the right and you can't see it. Some of them are really short. This one is the last one. This is number 18. We wanted to shoot off the hill and come around, but we often have campers here for weddings. Yeah. So we didn't want somebody to get clipped. So we've cut the course back through the woods and it comes all the way back here. So this is a pretty tricky corner, this one. So this one makes almost a 90-degree turn. And apparently they cleared this out because they're going to shoot over this. So you can see that it makes a huge arc and it tucks just off the trail here.
So our budget for this was just over $22,000, and they gave us exactly what we applied for, which was $16,090. And then the Youth Investment Fund, which paid the youth wages. 16, 17-year-olds are more responsible for some of the bigger things, and we get them to mentor the younger ones as well. I think that's already started to happen. We saw some of that yesterday. So it's just, it's nice to see people getting connected that, don't even actually live that far from each other, but don't know each other necessarily either. So it's good.
And that is Northbeat for tonight. For news anytime, go to cbc.ca/north. Thank you for watching. We leave you tonight with video of the Yukon River between Minto and Whitehorse. I'm Megan Roberts. Have a good night.